Welcome to Lion Trading, going over Friday's SPY recap before taking a look at what to be watching Tuesday and next week. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members on Friday was to be watching for the purple buying continuation along with the blue and yellow controlled selling if we did want to head up. So you can see that we started the day right here with this gap up, but it was sold off and there was no purple buying continuation right here. We did not see this blue and yellow build us an inverse head and shoulder, and there was no reason because we never filled this cup right here either, so there was nothing like that to bring us up. Now, I also explained that you had to still be paying attention to that 5-day moving average, which was right below us right here, as well as the orange selling continuation if we wanted to see a repeat from Thursday. And we see this selling right here in that orange, as well as this shoulder below this 558 level right here. We grab this liquidity and we're testing that 557.37 level, which has been tested several times before. You can see right here it is a very important level. Now, I have been mentioning for over a week these two levels right here and how they were very important. The other one being this 560.77, which you can see we have tested almost every single day here and is another crucial level of control. Now, once you understood the range that we were in, and you also understood this 5-day moving average that was between these two levels and how we were playing off of this, and between these levels right here, you would have been able to trade this much more efficiently. I will put a video above how to use the 5-day moving average intraday, but I also will say if you want to watch the previous videos on the days spent within this range, I go over these concepts and you can see how it develops each day and how these traps are formed not only on the 30-minute chart, but the microstructure as well. So now we will go over Friday's microstructure and revisit this on the 30-minute chart along with what I show you. So now here on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms to start the morning, you can see we have this tapering white algorithm right here from this aggressive buying, and you see how we grab this shoulder right here with this head and shoulder, and you also see that we try and form this inverse cup and handle. Now once we close that inverse cup, you need to be seeing this handle if you are still looking for the downside, and we need to get below that 5-day moving average. Now, along with this yellow controlled selling that we see right here, and the blue still in control, with this green engulfing candle, you see how we form this inverse head and shoulder, as well as close the cup back to this level right here. And from there, we see this blue controlled selling, and you could have taken an entry right here for a short move up. Now, at this point right here, I explained you had to be paying attention to this inverse cup as it looked like we were starting to taper right here, and I was saying to pay attention if we closed at the 5-day moving average and then from there lost it, we could head down. Now this first one, we do close it at this level, but we never see this handle right here, once again below that 5-day moving average and the continued downside. Instead, once again, we form this inverse head and shoulder with the blue controlled selling that you see right here and this yellow. You have to be paying attention to that, and you see how we grab this liquidity back to the upside right here. There's an entry right here off of this cup, and once again another cup closes right here, but we lack this blue and yellow controlled selling right here, and we never form an inverse head and shoulder to continue higher and break out of that 563 resistance. Now, once you see this rejection off this level right here and us grabbing this liquidity, you are now looking for this inverse cup, and we start to form this to the downside right here. Once again, another inverse cup, and you see this handle right there, and we close the inverse cup at this level. Then you see the move through the 5-day moving average right here. Now at 11:01, after we got the initial move through the moving average right here, I explained you had to be paying attention to seeing it turn into resistance, and you see how we're forming this head and shoulder as well as this inverse cup right at this level. You see that handle, and once again we get that move down. Now, after this last move right here, I was done for the day as I had been scalping this whole thing throughout the morning. As you can see right here, I was also explaining that if you were scalping this, your entries have to be quick. You can see right here, some of the trades are less than a minute. Some of them are only, 15, 20 seconds long, and you have to do what the structure requires. Now, I also understand that for many traders who are newer, this is more difficult within these tighter ranges, but you will start to learn with time. As I'm explaining here, if you do not feel comfortable with it, then you can wait for a easier entry with more structure that you can see clearer. So right here, if you're not trying to trade within what's going on right here, we'll wait for something larger to form right here, like this inverse cup, right? Now you will look for this handle, and maybe we see that move through the 5-day moving average. It could be a one and done trade for the day, kind of like this one right here. So if you wait for the setups, then you will have a better chance to see it if you are not comfortable with the tighter ranges. So same thing right here. If you're looking for this inverse head and shoulder, well, you could wait for this smaller cup right here. You see this handle, and there's a scalp right here. You would have to protect at the close of this cup right here. And then if you saw this handle and breakout continuation, well, then that is a great trade as well. Now, with the rejection off of the 5-day moving average right here, I explained you had to be looking for the orange selling continuation on the 30-minute chart, which we can see right here. And you also had to be paying attention to these two levels right here. So in the case that we did test where we had previously tested the day before, which we did, and we see this bounce off of this area right here, but we also grabbed the liquidity first off of that 558, and from there we're able to get that move below. Now, if we were to close this inverse cup at this level, we could once again look for this handle right here, see something to the downside, grabbing this liquidity. However, we were unable to do that as we did not even see this handle right here. So with the bounce off of this level, we do not see this head and shoulder and that continuation to close the cup. And we start to see this inverse head and shoulders forming right here. And I will also go over what was going on right here and how we were forming the ability to close this cup right here, as well as the cup up here. So after seeing more selling continuation right here, we still remain below this moving average. We see how we make this last move down, and I explained from here that you can be looking for either the reversal, but we have to regain that 5-day moving average, which we could see something like this, and then from there close the cup back at this level, grabbing this shoulder right here if we wanted to make a recovery. Otherwise, I explained to be watching for the handle and the head and shoulder rejection. So at this level, we were not quite ready. We never broke below right here. We see this inverse cup close, but there is no handle and no close of that cup. Now at this point right here, we do see this head and shoulder off of this liquidity, and we do close this inverse cup. But once again, as I showed you previously above over here, there was no handle and we do not see any continuation. Now, there is this right here, but what you have to understand is we never regain the 5-day moving average right here. We try to, but we once again get rejected, and you can see how we are still forming this handle right here with that same tapering algorithm that I showed you from above as well. And we see how we grab this liquidity right here, and we finally form once again not only this inverse cup at that same level, but we see this right here, and we close below and we get this continuation. So after reaching this 557.37 level right here and us forming this support right here, we cannot break below it. I explained that we can look for a handle even after this move up right here. If we see something similar to this right here and we do want to head down, well, then we can look for this to form right here, and I would look to get back involved if we were going to give up that level, as I was going to look for this move down below and the closing of once again another inverse cup. Otherwise, you can look for this cup to close back to the 5-day moving average and us form this inverse head and shoulder, as well as this flag that you see right here, and I will explain how this trade went all the way back to fill this cup like I was mentioning. Now at this point right here, I explained that if we are able to regain the 5-day moving average, this setup looks like Thursdays, which gave us this move down right here off of the inverse cup. And you see how we start to form this inverse head and shoulder as well as this cup. And you see how we form this handle right here. And then on the way up, there are several entries right here. There's this larger cup. You could have taken this handle on the way up. And then once again with this shoulder, there is another inverse head and shoulder right there. And then once again, after we close it at this level, you could have taken this last trade at the end of the day. So what I was just mentioning there on the way up with the entries, you can see I was explaining right here, and same thing to the downside. You would have wanted to see this inverse cup, so there was no reason to short this right here if you were looking for it. Once again, there's no handle, and then you probably would have wanted to see this cup close at that 557.37, and then from there, see that shoulder. So same thing like I'm mentioning with yesterday's setup, you can see how this head and shoulder starts to form right here, and then you see this basically identical setup right here for the inverse head and shoulder. You see that flag, right? We see this handle, which is that bear flag, and it gives this move down, and then it gives this move up right there back off of that 5-day moving average, as right here we lost the 5-day moving average. Now as that cup was starting to form, I explained you wanted to see this yellow algorithm break right here because this is still controlled selling. You have to understand that there is not a reason to just be shorting this heavy. We haven't even closed this inverse cup right here, and you see how it gives us not only this yellow break but as well as that blue right here, which is that controlled selling as well. And you see how we form this inverse head and shoulder as well as that cup, and then the cup to this next level right here like I'm explaining as well. Like I said, if there was anything extra past the close of this cup, well, congratulations. And if you were holding runners or you did take this right here at the end of the day, great work. It was a very nice squeeze, and we did get the close of that cup, which is back to this same resistance from before. So now going over what to be watching Tuesday and next week. As I was mentioning with this cup right here, as well as this larger one that you can see, we can now be watching for this blue and yellow controlled selling if we want to build more liquidity right here before continuing higher. Now, if there is a gap up on Tuesday, well, same thing. We can look for this blue and yellow controlled selling, and you can look for this continuation right here and breaking out of this white algorithm. Now, if on Tuesday there is a gap up and we do not continue higher, well, you can be looking for this liquidity right here in the case that there is another trap, and this is going to act as resistance once again, the same thing that has been happening. So just understand that, but if not, you can look for this purple buying continuation, and I'm going to explain more on the daily chart as well. So here on the daily chart, right, we are above that 5-day moving average, so we do need to lose that if we are going to head down. Like I'm saying, if for some reason this is just a trap again, well, then you need to see that 5-day moving average become resistance, and then we can go retest this 20. Otherwise, you see this upper Bollinger is trending up, and we have not tested it yet. We did not test it right here. So if this 5-day starts trending up as well, this 20, we may get this upper Bollinger retest at the end of the week here. You can also see that we have been forming this for quite some time right here, and this can be a handle that we are breaking out of for this continuation right here. So do pay attention to that, breaking out of this previous high. Now we do have some economic data throughout the week as well, so we will see how that affects the trades in the pre-market and if we have some gap ups. Otherwise, gear up and prepare for September. It is usually quite a volatile month, but there is plenty of great opportunity to make money as long as you know what is going on and you're not still trying to say short the market here. If we get a clear breakout, we're not below the 5-day moving average. Why are you doing that to yourself? Understand that we need to see this 20-day moving average and then the 5 cross below that if there was to be some sort of downtrend and we were going to head back down. You do not need to be calling anything early. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend, and I will see members Tuesday morning.